Hello everyone and welcome back to the Saku-san channel. My name is Lewis. I hope you're all safe and well. Now, it has been some time since my last video. I hope you guys have missed me. I've certainly missed interacting with you guys. So yeah, I thought I'd put a video out there. Now, as I said in my last video, it's a couple of months ago now, waiting for 2025's stock of new releases of jazz to come in and see what's available and see what I like and don't like. Now, what's been released so far this year, nothing has really taken my fancy, and I'm not going to force the issue. So I thought in the meanwhile we all wait for these albums to be released and for me to listen and add them to my collection until we get to the point where I've got enough to make a video. I thought I'd do something else in the meanwhile. Now, I'm taking quite a bit of a risk, and the reason is because this video is going to focus in on Brazilian music, which happens to feature in my collection. Now, I have done a similar video a number of years ago, and let's be honest, it's a slow burner. It's not for everyone, put it that way. So I have been reluctant to do another one of these videos. But hey ho, we got a bit of time. Like I said, until I get sufficient jazz vinyl in my collection, yeah, we're kind of on hiatus from the jazz scene for the moment. So I hope you don't mind. Now, yeah, I'm hoping today's version of this Brazilian roundup of vinyl in my collection, I'm hoping that more of you are going to like the content of this particular video today. And the reason is, instead of just focusing on the kind of traditional Ipanema type sound of Brazil, which one would associate with it, today's presentation is going to have examples of Brazilian pop, Brazilian funk. It's going to have the traditional stuff as well, but hopefully presented in a slightly different way to what you would normally assume. So something noteworthy. So I'm hoping you're going to enjoy it anyway. We're going to see from the view counts ultimately whether or not anyone else shares my particular slant on Brazilian music. I don't know, maybe you might like that. Anyway, it's going to be out there. So I would say as well, today's presentation, I'm mainly going to be showing you 7-inch vinyl, and I was firmly in the camp of I'm never going to buy 7-inch vinyl. I don't see the point. I don't like the format size. But I found myself in a position of there's nothing really out there, and what is out there happens to be in this format. And yeah, got to scratch that itch. I know all of you out there. This is why you're here for a reason. You understand that urge. So yeah, I found myself with far more 7-inch vinyl than I ever thought I'd own. And it's not a lot, but it's more than I thought I'd have. So yeah, so a roundabout way, let's start the actual video at this point. So let's start with track 1. Yeah, so I would say as well, most of the 7 inches don't have vinyl art, so yeah, it's going to be pretty boring to look at. Links for each track are going to be left down below as usual. Yeah, as you're listening to these tracks, consider what I've said, whether it makes sense to you or it doesn't. It helps you to kind of evaluate what you think of it. Yeah, let me know in the comments section. So first of all, we're going to start off with a trio called, Trio Tenura, and this is a 1974 release, and it's by the following siblings: Jerema, Robson, and Jussara Lorenzo da Silva. Anyway, there you go. And the track in this particular case that we're going to focus in on is called Filhos de Zambi. So it's a 1974 release where I can get if I can pronounce the track titles and artist names, I will. If I can't for whatever reason, or I'm making a right horlicks of it, I'll skip over it. You guys just check it out, what I'm referring to in the actual links, which I'll provide for you down below. So, first of all, what would I say about this particular 7-inch? It's upbeat, it's joyful, it does what Brazilian music is supposed to do in my collection. For me, at least, the Brazilian side of my collection is where a lot of the fun is happening. Risks are taken. Yeah, it's just joyful. And what I'm going to be presenting to you, and this is the first of them, although there's separate genres within Brazilian music tradition, they all encapsulate some kind of fun or something noteworthy. So, well, I hope you're going to find it noteworthy anyway. So, for me, Summer Scorcher. The tune itself, the vocalizations are really good, but the actual composition is extremely simple. It's basically an all chorus tune. Now, some of you might go, oh, that's interesting. Others might go, that sounds horrible. I would say in its defense that, super groups such as ABBA have made a whole career of putting out tracks which are all chorus. So I wouldn't treat this particular single too harshly, but it's an absolute scorcher anyway. It stands up on its own right. Hopefully you're going to have the same enthusiasm that I have. If you don't, put it in the comment section. I'm going to argue against you anyway. Know that in advance. You're not going to be able to talk me down. This is a banging tune. Right, so that was the first track. And again, it was Trio Tenura, Filos de Zambi, 1974. The second 7-inch I'm going to present to you has a slightly better, well, quite a bit better cover. 7-inch EP, 1983 release by an artist named Valeria. The track that we're going to focus in on is called Pen na Estrada. Now, yeah, of the 4 tracks on this EP, all 4 are kind of like, they're okay, but no, the track we're focusing on is by far head and shoulders above everything else on this presentation. It's just an absolute gem, more in the kind of traditional, more in the traditions of like what we consider to be Brazilian sounding music. Nice tinge to it. Prior to hearing who the actual artist was, I kind of like, on initial hearing, I thought it was a Brazilian female vocalist called Joyce. I thought it was one of her tunes. I really do like her output, and yeah, there was enough of a similarity, and I was thinking to myself, oh, does this come from a Joyce album that I've never heard before, type thing. Glad to discover this one. I think it's a real gem. It's a sweetheart tune. It's just nice. It's just nice all round. So as I said, Pena Estrada, it's Valeria, and it's 1983. There you go. The third track today is a double header. Now, yeah, most of the time on 7-inches, you'll get the track that you wanted, and the other one is kind of like a filler. You're not interested in what's going on in it at all. But this particular vinyl I'm going to show you is a 7-inch. Both sides are absolute gems, but for totally different reasons. So I'm going to show you the vinyl. There you go. Not really that interesting to look at. The first track from this 7-inch I've just shown you, I'm going to talk about, is a 1982 release by a group called Lafayette, and the track is entitled Sol de Verão. Now, this is unapologetic Brazilian disco, and it's just absolutely I love it. Chef's kiss. It's it's on rotation with me at the moment, and it has been for some time. It just keeps me bopping. I love this tune. Maybe because it's relatively new to me, in my collection. I'm still in that honeymoon phase, but I'm kind of thinking to myself, no, I can't conceive of a time in my head at this moment. I can't conceive of a time where I'd be blasé about this track. I think it's that good. A lot of you are going to listen to it and say, that's really cheesy, that's really dated. I'm offended, Lewis. And I'm going to say to you, I will fight you on that hill. I literally will. I just think, or even if I'm not, yeah, of course I'm joking about it. If you said it really depends on what music traditions that you've been exposed to before you got to this video kind of thing. So, yeah, you might not like it as much as me, but it's in my wheelhouse. I really do like it. And part of the reason why I'm kind of doing this video is I like to show my homework. I like to show my musings. So even if you don't like Brazilian music at the end of this video, you don't like any of it, it might give you an idea of my journey in music and how I come to like the jazz, which I think most of you are here for. My taste in jazz, how it developed, and the kind of connections that I've made in terms of musical taste. Hey, I'm just showing you my workings. Anyway, and yeah, although dated, undeniable fun. Yeah, yeah, just superb. Chef's kiss. Lafayette, Sol de Varal, 1982. Gonna leave a link down below so you can hear it for yourself. Banging tune. On the other side of the 7-inch in question, there is a 1971 release, and it's by Marissa Rossy. Now, I'm not going to pronounce the track title because I'm just going to fudge it, and it's got a Q in its opening word. Q is the first letter, and I have no knowledge of how to pronounce that in Portuguese stroke Brazilian. I have no idea how to do that, so I'm not even going to try it. I will leave a link down below so you can see and hear the track yourself, and you try and pronounce how it's. So with the track I'm talking about, Marissa Rossy's one, the vocalizations, there's drama, there's majesty to this tune. It's more along traditional lines, but for me it has impact. It has a thump behind it, which I was definitely impressed with. The vocalizations and how the actual vocals are delivered definitely conjured in my mind that this is a formidable woman. You know what I mean? It really does. Yeah, she does a great job of kind of giving you a certain impression of her. From what I see of the pictures of her, she certainly wasn't like, a big woman. In fact, she looks rather petite. So just shows you how good her vocal talent is. It gave you the totally different impression. If you've never seen what she looks like, you would assume, she's quite a statuesque woman. So yeah, again, it's more along the traditions. But what I would say as a caveat that there is an undeniable quality in here, and that goes back to the thump, the presence, the stage. Yeah, this tune sounds like it's aware that the presentation is a stage. You are my audience. It has that. Yeah, if you went to a live performance of an artist and you was near the front row and they're above your eye line, your normal eye line, and they're singing down towards you. This is how this tune feels to me anyway. Absolute stunner. So glad to have it in my collection. You're going to hear it for yourself. Hopefully you're going to like it. And if you don't, you're going to let me know. It won't change my mind on it, but you're going to let me know. The next track, which is the fifth track to be shown today, Fortunately, we're gone back to like normal vinyl size. It's a 1973 release by Costa, and the track is called Relance, and it comes from an album called India. So yeah, love the artwork there. Absolutely stunning, all-time classic cover. Although lovely packaging of the version I've got in front of me. It's gatefold, heavy card, beautiful. I'm not going to flip it round or show you the inside. You know, the reason is that, you know, there's images of a particular lady, scantily clad, barely. Anyway, you just don't know how YouTube's going to react to it. So, yeah, it's best that, yeah, I probably don't turn it around, to be quite honest with you. Nothing's too salacious or anything. It's just, you just don't know how the bots are going to react to the image. So, yeah, more than anything, the reason I expect you guys to kind of either own this album, or know the track itself. Yeah, because she is part of the pantheon of Brazilian artists, no doubts about it. But she is an outlier, but she's also part of the pantheon as well. Now, more than anything, in terms of the context of my journey in Brazilian music, this was maybe not the first, but certainly when I was exposed to it, which is a number of decades ago. Yes, I am that old. When I was exposed to it, it just absolutely blew my mind in terms of, oh, this is what's possible in Brazilian music. There's something other than the Ipanema sound, which, you know, unless somebody plays it to you, you just don't know. You don't know what to think, to be quite honest. Yeah, this opened up, yeah, the world of possibilities in terms of Brazilian music for me. Absolute stunner, a mid-tempo, nice shuffle track. One of the nice things about it, I believe it's an accordion, is the instrument, which is front and center. It's really funny that it's literally competing alongside the bass for. It's probably, outside of the vocals, the most dominant instrument in the tune itself. And who would have thought? I mean, this is the great thing about Brazilian music. Hey, you travel down that road, you're going to hear a funky accordion as part of a tune. That's what I live for. I ain't going to lie to you. This is what I enjoy, these little, you know, quirky things. So, yeah, it's widely available, this album. As an album, yeah, I don't particularly like it. I knew when I bought it, I just bought it for that track, and I couldn't live my life without it. So it was always going to be purchased. You're going to have to make up your own mind about whether or not you think it's worth the price point, because I don't think you probably can get one cheap, but a really nice copy of it, yeah, you're going to have to pay for it. Please decide if it works for you. Certainly does for me, and in my journey in Brazilian music, had to have it. So again, 1973, Gal Costa, Relance. So there's that one. Let's press on. Let's find something to put that. Yeah. So the next track, we're going to return to 7-inch singles. Next one is a 1968 release. It's called Canto Chorodo, and it's Delila is the name of the artist. It's just the way it's spelt through me. I have to think about it. There you go. Not that interesting. Yeah, when I leave links down below to the actual track, I'll try and pick a version of the track where you can see the original artwork. Yeah, just so you get a full flavour of what's going on. So with this Delila track, I keep saying Dahlia. I don't know why I keep saying it. Delila track. And you can say, I'm going to say, I'm outwardly admit, pure hyperbole, you know, what I'm going to say next. But I got to say, this particular track, on hearing it initially, and I haven't changed my feelings on it, despite, you know, repeated listening to the track. I think my relationship with the rest of humanity is improved because I know this track exists. Now you're going to say, Lewis, oh, what kind of craziness are you talking about? I can only talk from my own personal viewpoint. Hearing the track, and you're going to be able to hear it for yourself down below, I just thought, you know what? That's real good, that is. Yeah, that's it. Again, it has a presence about it. It has a grit to it, this particular one. More along traditional lines, but there's something about it. There's an X factor to it, which makes it sound, although familiar, similar to other bodies of work from contemporary artists of that time. It still sounds different enough. So again, just like Miss Rossy, the previous 7-inch I showed you, there is a stage, there is a performance to it, which, yeah, it's not just, for an actor, it's just not, it's the difference between a movie actor and a stage actor. I think the last two Brazilian tracks I presented to you, I'll put them in the camp. If I was to use that kind of analogy, they would be the stage versions of it. So it's projection through just natural ability. It's not enhanced by studio sounds. It's just that good. Yeah, there's a rawness to it. I love it. You're going to hear it for yourself. What would I say? Yeah, chef's kiss. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. So that was the 6th one. The 7th one is, oh yeah, we're going back to an album. Is a 1974 release. It's by Jamie and Nair, and the track is entitled Sob Omar. That's the cover, and I'll show you the reverse side. Is there anything in there? Oh, there actually is. I didn't even that's the reverse. There you go. Oh, okay. Yeah, production credits, that kind of thing. Has it actually got? Yeah, it's got the actual lyrics there as well. Okay. Oh, nice touch. Didn't realise that. How weird is that? Anyway, yes. So the track, yeah. So this track and the next track, I'm gonna again give you kind of analogies, and it's gonna think of the next two, this track and the next track, as possible themes in romance, and I'll just keep it there for the moment. Just keep that in your head for a second, that idea. Now, again, my journey with this particular right, I should first start off with these two artists. Sorry, it's just the way that I did it perfect for a second. Yeah, these two artists are basically Brazilian royalty. Now, he's the nephew of, I can't even remember who it was, but certainly part of the pantheon of Brazilian artists. He's the nephew of that person. The lady in question there, I think I've got this right. Again, she's kind of considered royalty in the sense of, if I've got all of my information right, she is part of, or was part of, Quarteto MC, group of female vocalists from Brazil. Loved their work, got their work across different formats. I wish I had all of it. I like Quarteto MC so much that if there was one artist's work that I had to listen to for the rest of my life and could listen to nothing else, that would be them probably. They're certainly in the, on one hand, on top 5, they're definitely going to be there. They probably, yeah, they're that good in terms of what I feel towards the music. Now, she was part of that group. I'm not sure if she was there from its inception to the very end, but she's certainly on at least one of their albums as the, as one of the vocalists. So again, they're not really messing about, these two. The track itself, and the album, I've got kind of like, I love the track. When this was re-released a number of years ago, this particular version of the album. I thought it was priced too high. I knew I only wanted one track off it, and I couldn't convince myself. So for a long time, I kind of didn't pull the trigger. I was kind of playing the game of, oh, there's, the initial enthusiasm, and those people who wanted it bought it at the maximum price. Let me see if the price drops. The price never dropped. It never did, and you just became aware that fewer and fewer retailers had it. So there was a point where I just went, look, once it goes, I know I'm not going to see this again. So pulled the trigger, pretty much paid the original retail price for it, if I remember rightly. So yeah, if you're going to play that game, you be aware that it might not work out for you, and you might not get the album because you basically waited too long, and you might have to wait another 15 years for it to be re-released again. That can happen. So yeah, that's my journey with this particular one. Actually really glad that I've got it, because the track that itself is a glorious romantic duet. It's lovely. It's ethereal, in my opinion. Um, yeah, this is yeah this it's like yeah, it's kind of like stereotypical romantic kind of. But put it this way: think of the Streisand album with Kris Kristofossen and the track "Guilty." You know, like a Brazilian version of it. That's me kind of being flippant, but that's to give you an idea of what to expect. Absolute scorcher, lovely, lovely tone. It's just perfection. It's just in terms of professionalism and knowing how to just make that absolutely splendid track. They did it with this one. You're going to hear it down below. I'm going to leave a link to it. As you can tell, I really like it. It's got delicacy. Yeah, I found it addictive when I first heard it, and my feelings towards it haven't diminished at all. Really good. So this is the seventh track, right? And that was Jamie and Nair. Track is entitled Sob Omar, and it's from 1974. Right, the eighth track. As I said, now that you've got Jamie and Nair in your mind, and you've got that kind of floral, romantic kind of side of things, the next track I'm gonna present to you does something different. Same romance, but a different flavour to it. So the track I'm going to be talking about is a 1971 release. It's by a gentleman called Agnaldo Real, and the track is entitled, I believe, Suma Uma. So yeah, let me show that to you. There you go. Now, again, this is one of those tracks where I fell in love with it as soon as I heard it. It's still on rotation now. I just think it's... So whereas Jamie and Nair, as I said, is more romantic, and it's like, I love you, do you love me? That kind of like interaction. This is different in terms of like, I know you love me. I know. It's more kind of like the Barry White side of things. It's like, it's just... Aggressive is the wrong word, wrong way to characterize it. It's just more certain, more confident in that, the person's own opinion, assessment of themselves. It's like, yeah, I know you love me. It's that kind of blaseness. So that's where it differs. Hopefully when you hear these tunes, you'll get what I mean. Mind-blowingly cool tune. For me, it has the nostalgia. It has gravitas. It feels like almost like a film score type tune. It's high cabaret. And what I mean by that is, and I don't mean it derogatorily in sense, not in that sense. I mean, this is a professional who, if they were doing the Vegas circuit with Wayne Newman, and they will fit in completely with those kind of guys. It's a similar level. It's just that it's just taking me. I'm just glad I've got to an age where I've discovered who this person is, and it kind of saddens me that I've lived my life up until now without knowing of Agnaldo's existence. Now that I know his existence, I'm feeling better about myself, to be quite honest. I've put in my notes, there's something in this tune which taunts me. Now, I've had time to think about that since I literally wrote that note. And what it is the bass line. The bass line is imposing. I'm not an all-out bass head, to be quite honest, but if you are, this tune has, it's got, a formidable and I think a memorable bass line to it. But yeah, again, the vocalizations in both female and male vocalizations in the track harmonized to, for me, perfection. Chef's kiss. Absolute corker, this tune. And again, if you don't feel the same, please let me know in the comment section. Yeah, if you don't, I'm gonna say you're wrong, but yeah, objectively, who am I to say that? All I can say is we can agree to disagree, but I think this is an absolute gem of a track. Okay, let's move on to the ninth track to be presented to you in this video. It's a 1977 release by a gentleman called Miguel de Deus, and the track is called Cinco Anos. So let me show you that. Look at those glasses. Those glasses are phenomenal. I kind of think that at some point everybody should rock a pair of glasses like that. We all can't be as cool as this gentleman, but yeah, I just think you should just have them glasses in your collection. Maybe it's not going to work for every outfit. Obviously, he's got a vest on, so that's rocking. But yeah, as much as I like the glasses, yeah, it's not going to suit every outfit. I've just made myself laugh there. I'm like a middle-aged man talking about, fashion. It's like, I'm hardly one to really talk about such things. So, as I said, 1977 release. This album is bonkers on the whole. I haven't fully I'm still kind of processing the material on this album, and I've had this album for quite some time. There's a lot going on in it, and a lot of it I still don't know whether I like or don't like it, if I'm indifferent to it. I just don't know I just can't really resolve what's going on in this album. But just to give you a general overview, it has moments, this album, and the track the track we're using, Cinco Anos. I wonder if that's like 5 years in. Anyway, it's to give you an overview. Just it's not entirely fair, but think of prime Parliament tunes, but in Brazilian. Now that does this body of work a disservice because it is original, but it's kind of like, that's how I'm going to say approach this tune in that particular framework, and that doesn't take away from the excitement of the tune because it's absolutely crazy. And that's why I like it. It's just unhinged Brazilian funk, and the world needs more of it. So glad to have it in the collection. I got this reasonably cheap. I had seen this in the wilderness for years and not pulled the trigger on it. Mainly because I didn't know how to resolve the album, but I knew there was one track on there. The price that I got it at was so competitive that I really couldn't turn it down. It deserved a place in my Brazilian collection, so I'm glad to have it. Yeah, I'm going to leave a link down below so you can hear it for yourself. as I said, absolutely crazy tune. But some of you will know it already. Others, I'm glad to present it to you. On the if you don't like any of the other tracks in this video today, which I hope that you do, if this one if this one is the one that, you know, tips you over the edge, I welcome you to the Brazilian music rabbit hole. I welcome you with open arms, because yeah, it gets crazy. It really does. So there you go. Put that there. So that was the ninth one. Cinco Anos, 1977, Miguel de Deus. So the last, that was a ninth. Yeah, so the last track today. Again, I've finished on an absolute corker. Yeah, 1971 release by a lady called Evina, not Elvina, Evina. And the track we're going to be focusing on is called Que Bandeira. Que Bandeira. There you go. Doesn't she look happy and joyful? Bless her. She's got very big eyes. Almost like alien quality. It's weird. Like an anime kind of like female character, kind of like how they do it, with like small heads but really big eyes. It's a weird kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, so I heard this, you know, the track that we're going to be focusing on is absolutely charming. Delicate vocals. So it's kind of weird, because if you was to listen to 4 Brazilian tracks in a row, and this was the 4th one, you probably wouldn't think anything remarkable was going on. So it kind of suffers from that. But when you kind of like isolate it away from other Brazilian tunes, this tune just kind of like, for me anyway, it kind of goes up a couple of levels compared to every other Brazilian track. Some of that could be to do with, like, I've heard this more recently than some of the other stuff, but in fairness, I really do believe that this tune is underrated. It's seriously underrated. It's a heavy hitting tune. Yeah, and if you've never heard it before, glad to present it to you. Don't get me wrong, somebody else presented it to me, or I, you know, it's not a case of I just created this stuff. You know, somebody had to teach me. So I'm passing on what I've learned to you. Hopefully you're gonna enjoy the track as much as I have. The album itself, in fact, no, I can't recommend the album. I bought it for the track that we're talking about. I was prepared to pay anything for it, well, within reason for it. So you'll have to make your own decision on it. But the track itself, absolute corker. It's in the kind of like Brazilian musical traditions, the Ipanema style, but it is totally different. But like I said, you got to hear it in isolation. Composition, I just said, yeah, nice originality of composition and performance. I've finished off my comments with, it's ethereal and it has a dream-like quality to it. Now, I think you can only achieve that sense of understanding, again, in isolation, if you hear it. So if you were to listen to every track that I've presented today, one after the other, you probably wouldn't say this was a standout track. But if you was to put like this in the middle of, like, you know, for say 3 other jazz tracks, you'll kind of like, it just go, oh, this is something, what's going on. It's just totally different now. Now, it doesn't work for every Brazilian track. It won't do that. This has a scalability which kind of like, as I said, it's quite unique in terms of like, you kind of have to separate it out from the rest of the Brazilian music world. You kind of have to go, this is a separate thing. So that's the last one today. That's the 10th one. Now, I really do, well, first of all, thank you for putting up with me today and hopefully tolerating this roundup of Brazilian music in my collection at this moment in time. Of course, going forward, I hope to again continue to expand on my Brazilian section. It's looking quite nice. It's looking quite buff at the moment. But like with other genres in my collection, I don't want everything. I really don't. There's highlights from the Brazilian, musical catalogue that some are going to appeal more than others, and I will focus in on those. I don't want everything. I really don't. I don't have the space for it, and I just really just don't want it. But yeah, thank you for joining me on this journey. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully you'll get something out of it. Hopefully you found the episode slightly informative, mildly amusing. I'll take that. If you do have any feedback for me, please, in the comment section, please let me know whether you like this video's choices. Even if you want to tell me about jazz, what you want to, but on the basis of some of my older videos, you've gone like, oh, I think you might like this particular jazz album. Please leave it in the comment section. I'm here to learn. I don't know everything. I really don't. But yeah, it may seem like that to some of you, but no, just keep it real. I'm learning just as you guys are. We're just doing it from different angles. That's all. Yeah, thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully sometime soon I'll have a jazz episode. I'm hoping it's going to be forthcoming. I just don't have an idea of when I'm going to have enough material. But until then, I'll try and put out videos with other aspects of my collection. These videos, I am taking a risk because I do understand that you guys are here for, maybe some of you are here just for the wider musical journey, but I assume that most of you are here for the jazz, and I will continue to do that. It's my primary focus. I'm not going anywhere with it. I just need to find it and want it. So yeah, that explains that. Thank you for being with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please, if you know anybody who likes music in general and you feel that, yeah, you know what, he thinks he's funnier than what he actually is, but he has got some interesting taste in music. Hey, share my videos with friends, family. The more the merrier here. Yeah, we're all here on our own personal journeys in music. This just happens to be my one, and I've made it public. That's all. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I would really appreciate if you enjoyed the actual video, please drop a like. It just helps with the traction of the video. So the more likes it has, the more likely it is that people who kind of vaguely are looking around the kind of jazz world on YouTube might come across my video. So please, if you wouldn't mind, hit the like button on your way out. Really would appreciate it. Links are going to be down below. Yeah, let's just get out of here. All right, so until the next video, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you shortly for another roundup. So until then, take care. Bye bye.